Gary Conley is in the protocol, and concerned about him. We'll hopefully find more information regarding his status for this game later in the next couple of days. But I'll be happy to answer any questions I can.
What's your schedule going to be like this week?
With the extra day and the holiday coming, we'll use today to focus on the Kansas City Chiefs. Tuesday and Wednesday, we will work on the Broncos. We'll get the players back tomorrow, and we'll start practicing for Denver on Thursday. So we'll give the players an extra day to recover, and we're excited to finish the season.
With Darren Waller, he obviously didn't have the cleanest pass. When you guys brought him on, what made you feel comfortable that he can stay on the straight and narrow with you guys?
Well, like a lot of people, they get a second chance. They have some issues that can be resolved and will be resolved. And I'm confident that this is a young man that's a great kid that is really going to flourish here, not only on the field but off. He's a great kid. You'll meet him. You'll get to know him yourself. And he has some qualities that this football team needs.
Why do you have the tight end around in your playbook?
I don't know. We're trying every way we can to make a first down right now. Wait till you see this week.
What's your confidence level in terms of getting your two guards back, either of them, both of them back here this season?
Hope so. We are very hopeful that KO can come back and be our left guard, although you have to be realistic, not just hopeful. This is a serious toe injury that's hard for him to maneuver on. And Gabe Jackson is suffering from a very legitimate elbow injury. And it's hard to block people when you can't extend your arm. And we're concerned, obviously. But I will say this, Chaz Green and Denzel Good on a short notice, they did do some good things yesterday.
What'd you make of where the technique flaws were for Colton from a pass protection standpoint?
Yeah, he had a couple pass sets that were uncommon for him, and we've got to fix that fast, especially this week with Vaughn and Chubb coming to town. He was isolated in some tough one-on-one situations, like he always is, and there's a couple pass sets he I'm sure wants back, and we got to continue to work with him on the practice field and become a lot more consistent in that aspect.
Is he of the personality type that can take maybe moments that didn't go well and apply and learn from him? Does he study and kind of accept those moments well?
Yeah, I know he does. He's for a rookie, he's been able to handle the peaks and valleys of his rookie season very well. He's had some really good games. He's had some games where he's had his eyes opened, and he's not the first rookie left tackle that has gone through this. But we like to see him finish with some authority, and we've got to help him do that with a much better protection plan than I called yesterday.
Where have you seen his biggest improvements over the year?
Well, he's just look. He's improved in one-on-one pass protection. He's improved in the running game. He's handled a lot of audibles. He's played next to 5 different left guards. He's been mentally tough, been physically tough. And those are the two qualities that I admire the most. He's battled through some legitimate injuries, and he's seen Melvin Ingram, he's seen Dee Ford and Justin Houston and Von Miller. He's seen some great players, but he's been mentally tough. He's been physically tough. He hasn't missed practice. He's into football. Got a huge upside.
Whether it's Colton or anybody else, are there tricks and strategies for young guys that have never been through an entire NFL season before to get them through the last couple of games when basically their bodies would have been done?
Yeah, I don't know. I know some guys have really struggled to do that. They really have. It's 4 preseason games, 16 regular season games, and hopefully at some point you get yourself in the postseason. But A lot of it is, I think, Tom Cable. It's the position coach. It's the training staff. It's the strength staff. It's everybody servicing the player properly, encouraging them, pushing them, listening to them, caring about them, loving them. I think it's a combination of all that. It's a real big transition. Unfortunately, we got a lot of young guys that are playing a lot of snaps, making a transition together.
Well, obviously, as you said, you've had a lot of injuries in the offensive line, but how much of a collective toll has this taken on Derek to be sacked and hit as much as he has this year?
I think Derek's played great. You know, somebody told me he had 3,700 yards and 68% completions in 13 games. It's astonishing, you know, with 3 new guards and, you know, losing a right tackle, a feature back, 3 top receivers. Guy's a hell of a player. Guy's a great quarterback. You know, we are very pleased and proud of what he's done, and we know we got to get better around him, and that we will.
Is he physically, how has he withstood all this?
Well, I think he's hanging in there. No question. I'm sure he's sore. He knows he's carrying us right now on offense, and that's what a franchise quarterback is paid to do. But we're doing everything we can to support him, to try to put him in position to audible at the line of scrimmage, fix problems, and move the football and ultimately win games. And he's really had us in position to win a lot of these games. That's a credit to him.
Is he fully fluent in your offense now, John? 13 games in?
He is fully fluent. Yes, he is. He's more fluent than I am. I mean, he's playing great football. I think he will tell you. I can't speak for him. I think he's really excited about where we're heading, and his confidence level is very, very high right now.
I noticed that practice squad players made the trip to Cincinnati. Why was that the right move at this time, and also what role did Frosty have in that?
Frosty has a role in everything. You know, he's got a role in what we eat the day before the game and who comes on the plane with us. But honestly, our practice squad guys have been with us, most of them, for the entire season. I wanted to reward them. I wanted them to get a feel for what it's like on the road, and they're really a part of this team. I think it should be mandatory in a lot of ways that they're able to do it every week, but maybe that's a process we'll dabble in the future.
They aren't on the home sideline much for you guys during games. I believe Pittsburgh was an exception to that, but I guess why have them not be on the sideline for home games?
Yeah, I just want them to, why are they or why aren't they?
Aren't they?
Well, injured players, people in general, you just try to restrict who has access to the sidelines. It's a very tight area. I like to keep it, pretty exclusive to the men that are playing. I think it's fair to them. I think it's their show time. It's their game. I don't like having a lot of people down there, unless you're a movie star or, unless you're somebody that's really famous. I'm just kidding.
There's uncertainty about where you guys are playing next year. This could be the final game
Yeah.
at the Coliseum. Is there any favorite memory you have? One of your games at the Coliseum that stands out, or something about the stadium?
I got a lot. I'm really sensitive about hearing that. It's going to be a great atmosphere Monday night, Christmas Eve. Denver Broncos coming to town. I get excited thinking about it. Just raging in the black hole, rocking and raging down there after the Steeler game, after a lot of wins over the years. Seeing a lot of the old highlights of the great Raider teams. I get excited. I get emotional about it. And hopefully we get it all resolved where we can continue to play here.
What is it that makes that place so special to you?
It's a real football stadium. It's dirt, grass. It's got tradition. It's where some of the best games in history of football have been played. It's where some of the best players in the history of the world played the football games at. You walking around before the Steeler game, you see Franco Harris and Lester Hayes, and you think about some of the battles they had in that place. Reggie Jackson lighting the torch. I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened in that stadium. And next question. I get excited. I don't start crying about a stadium.
As narrowly and intensely focused as you are, will Monday night be weird at all, knowing it could be the last game?
It would be weird. I remember when I was offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, we played the last last Eagle-Cowboy game in the old Texas Stadium, and I remember sitting in the locker room looking around thinking, man, there's some real good coaches and players who played in here. I like the old stadiums. I like the traditional joints, to be honest with you. But I'm also excited about the future of the Raiders. Who are we kidding? But it's a sentimental time.
The emotion that you described about just playing at this stadium and all the greats that have before, is that an emotion that you can tap into, or you plan to tap into this week when talking with the players, just not knowing the certainty of what this game could be, but the possibility that it might be the last game there?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We'll certainly talk about it, but I think at the same time, we're having to address some areas right now on our team that are very, very important. Who are the guards going to be? How are we going to move the football? How are we going to function? What's Gary and Conley's status? We gotta deal with the day-to-day aspect of preparing for the game, and then maybe the night before the game we'll sauce up a video for the guys to get them a true respect to where they're playing again.
You mentioned, I think the Friday before you left, that you were going to talk with Donald Penn. Do you have any better sense of whether or not he may return?
You know what? I think Donald is wide open. He wants to play. As you know, how many linemen are you going to have up? There is a chance he could be up this week. We'll address that here in the next couple days. There's a clock, when you get a guy off the injury reserve, you have a couple weeks to look at him, and our clock is about to expire. So we'll talk to Rod Martin, we'll talk to Donald, and we'll put our heads together and determine that here in the next 48 hours.
John, you talk about some of the great games in NFL history. You have any childhood memories watching games on TV in the 70s maybe?
Well, I was a Browns fan growing up, and usually the Steelers and Raiders eliminated the Browns in the playoffs. But you remember the snake, the Clarence Davis play against the Dolphins. You just several games that stick in your mind. Certainly, some of the old highlights that I've seen. But I stick to the 1998, 99, 2000, 2001, 2018 version of the Raiders. Those are the games I think of because I was there for them.
You guys all set?
Okay. Frosty Rucker had the batted pass, I would say, on the 3rd and goal. Just talked a little bit about him earlier, but what has he meant on the field, off the field for you guys?
Well, he's meant a lot. We've had a lot of turnover on the defensive line, particularly at the end position. But he's been a father figure, an older brother figure to a lot of these young guys. He's been a leader. He's been a captain. He's been a guy on the practice field, in the meeting rooms, on the plane, on the way home that has helped us through some dark moments, and I think really showed the way to these young guys how to be a pro and what to expect in the second year. So we're thankful for him, and we're going to expect more from him here in the next 2 weeks.